Hello there, my name is Lee Chantry from lee-soft.com, and today I'm going to be talking to you about ViPad 2.0. Now in this video I'll be talking to you about some of the new features in ViPad 2.0, but I'll also be talking to you about some of the existing features that were already in ViPad that have been improved somewhat or have been slightly refined and made better. And for the benefit of those people who have never used ViPad before, I'll be talking about how to set up ViPad for the first time. So, okay, let's go ahead and open ViPad. The sooner the better, because I don't want people to see how bad I've let my desktop get. It's quite bad. There's icons everywhere. Hopefully, with the help of ViPad, I'll be able to convert this messy desktop into a more streamlined and efficient work environment. So, anyway, I'm opening ViPad for the first time, and it's saying this looks like the first time you've used ViPad. To help you get started, ViPad can automatically add the shortcuts already on your desktop. Now, what ViPad won't do is add the desktop files on your desktop. See, these are files, these are picture files. I've downloaded them, I've looked at them, and forgot they exist, and that's pretty much why I've got this messy desktop situation going on. And I think a lot of people are the same. They download files to the desktop because they want somewhere to put it and probably forget that it's there. So that's why in ViPad it doesn't actually add the files, it only adds the desktop shortcuts. So these are shortcuts. You can tell what's a shortcut and what's a file usually by the fact that there's a little arrow at the bottom left of the icon. See this? These are obviously all shortcuts, and these are obviously files, and these are folders, and they didn't get added neither. But we can, if we like, you can add files from your desktop into ViPad after this stage. So, okay. I'm going to click yes and let ViPad add all my desktop icons. I know there's a lot. Hopefully after 20 years it would have added all of them. I'm only joking. Hopefully it should do that quite quickly. But for the amount of the icons there are, this might take a little bit of a while. Okay. ViPad is adding those icons for me now, as you can see. It's all changing around, and there's pages being added there. Okay, it looks like it's finished doing that. So what I'm going to do is quickly hide my embarrassing desktop. Now that ViPad's added all the necessary icons, hiding the desktop won't delete a single thing on your desktop. Okay, there's been a lot of confusion about this. When you hide the desktop, it doesn't actually mean you lose any of the things on your desktop. Also, when you drag things into ViPad, it makes a copy of them. It doesn't move them into ViPad. Okay, so don't worry about deleting things in ViPad. They will still exist from wherever you copied them originally from. Anyway, yeah. So let's hide this horrible desktop. Well, that's much better already. Now I can see the actual Windows logo there. I can see the background is actually. Whereas before I couldn't see it, I can actually see it now. Anyway, one of the biggest changes in ViPad 2.0 is the way in which icons are displayed. So what I mean is, when you open ViPad 1, it looks just like this, and you can create some tabs like so. That's great. But in ViPad 2.0, there's in fact a new mode where you can see your icons arranged completely. Well, they appear the same, but in fact, well, let me just show you. I'm going to call this instance mode. What it actually does is open each tab in its own kind of window. So let's click. We go to the options by double-clicking anywhere in ViPad that isn't on an icon. That should bring up the icon, the options screen. My dog's just farted, and it actually stinks. Anyway, I try and carry on. So let's click tabbed mode, as you can see, it's made tabs. It's moved the tabs out of the top area into their own kind of window, which I said before. They're in their own window now. So what I'm going to do to start organizing all these icons, I'm going to start making category names. Okay, so let's go through all these here. As you can see, there's a kind of music app, so that's a category. There's a kind of web browser, that's a category. I've got other web browsers. There's Firefox there, but I know I've got others. And also I've got plenty of games. So what I want to do really is to separate each individual type of application. So let's go to this new tab here, and let's call this games. Now to do that, to rename a tab, go up to where it says new tab, right click it, and you're presented with this menu here. From here, select rename, and now you type the name of your new tab. For me, it's going to be games. Okay, so let's start by moving my games into games. Makes sense. We've got Worms, that's a game. Warcraft, that's a game. Starcraft, that's a game. I know it looks like I've got a lot of Blizzard games at the moment. What else? Nope, no games there. Okay, Red Alert, that's a game. Command and Conquer, that's a game. Minecraft, that's a game. And Phantasy Star is also a game. So I'll put that there. There you go. As you can see, I've now separated the games from the other icons. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this existing tab and rename it into music apps. That seems like a good category to have, since I've got quite a few apps there which play music. So let's see. I use VLC Player more for videos, but what I will do is teach you how you can copy an icon instead of moving it. So to move an icon, it's quite simple. You just, the same way you'd move an icon in Windows, you'd click and drag it to where you'd like. Except in ViPad, you have to click, wait a second, and then drag. Like so. But what really, I use VLC Player, yeah, as I said, for videos. So what I'm going to do is make another tab and call this video apps, or no, I'll tell you what, let's call it media players, and we'll do away with music apps. We'll move VLC into media players, and we'll delete this. There you go. To delete a tab, it's quite simple. Right click the tab and click delete, as I did before. So now we'll have media players there. What else do we have? Slide tunes, we'll put that in there. I don't usually use iTunes, it's just Apple have forced the use of iTunes as the only way to move media from a Windows PC to an iDevice, which is a terrible thing, really. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about that. That's really the only reason I have iTunes, though. Anyway, I will also... What other media players do I have here? Oh, Fubar. That's my preferred MP3 playing software. Well, not just MP3, any music I prefer to play through Fubar, really. Um, yeah, Audacity is more of an editor than a player. So let's see. I think that's everything. I think that's all my media players. I don't actually have Windows Media Player for obvious reasons. Anyway. Yeah, so there's my media players rather. I'm going to resize games so I can see more of my tabs. What else do I have here? I've got kind of utilities as well. So uTorrent, Merc, the multi-Skype launcher, MKV to AC3. These are all kind of utilities. See, that's typical, isn't it? Every time you go to do a video, there's some error from something. Anyway, this is not caused by ViPad. This is actually caused by PSO. But don't worry. I'm going to click OK for now and carry on with my tutorial. Okay. Anyway, where are we? Yes, so utilities. Let's make a new tab. Let's call this utilities. Okay. So what have we got here? Merc. Yeah, uTorrent. I think that's a utility. That's definitely a utility, and so's that. Yeah, I'd say FileZilla more of a client, but yeah, it's kind of a utility as well, and that it can help me do things. It's just, yeah, I think, yeah, that's probably a utility as well. Dropbox. So obviously, it's up to you how you classify things. I mean, whatever makes you work more efficiently, really. In my mind, I think of these applications as utilities, so I'd jump to the utility tab when I want to find it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, these are all utilities. Definitely a utility. Definitely a utility. Utility. Yeah, for me that's also utility really. On that. Okay, right. And also that, I think. And that. I've got a lot of utilities. Anyway, so that's how you can kind of categorize things in ViPad. Another big feature to ViPad 2.0 is the ability to actually find your icons. Say like, okay, say like I want to open Red Alert. I'd go to one of my tabs. I start typing Red Alert, and it's actually brought up the results for me there. I keep typing it. It'll filter out the results as I'm typing. So basically, I can. Yeah, it's basically a filter. It's like a filter in ViPad now, where you start typing the program that you wish to open, and it will filter out the results based on what you've typed. So ViStart even had this feature in the bottom left. You could search for your files and your apps straight from the start menu, and you could just start typing. So you can do the same thing in ViPad now. You just start typing your app, and it will show up. It doesn't matter which tab you've got the apps in. The search results will be from all your tabs. So I could do it from games. I could do it from utilities. I could start typing Firefox, for example, and it will show me Firefox. So this is a very important new feature in ViPad 2.0 is the ability to actually filter out your existing applications like so. Okay. If you click on any other window, the search results will disappear and it should go back to the tab that you were looking at before you began searching. Another big change in ViPad 2.0 is the ability to show smaller icons than before, because in ViPad 1 the smallest icon you could show would be 48 by 48. But I've actually had a few people emailing me asking me if I could support the ability to show 32 by 32 icons. So if we go to the options screen, and you can see now you can go all the way down to 32 by 32. Personally, I think that's too small. Well, it's not that it's too small, I like pretty pictures. That sounds a bit wrong. Not that in that respect. I just like pretty icons. There you go. So, but then again, I wouldn't see. I find that to be much too big. But then 32 by 32 is much too small. I like 48 by 48. That's my own preference. But if you've got a 50-inch monitor for some reason, you may want to have bigger icons, I suppose. Yeah. So it depends on you and your hardware, really. If you've got a 50-inch monitor, then you're very lucky. I'd like a 50-inch monitor. But then, anyway, that's besides the point. Another important feature in ViPad 2.0 is, in fact, the URL system. Before, in ViPad 1, when you copied a URL to your clipboard, when I say URL, I mean like a web link, like www.bbc.co.uk or www.google.com. These are web links. When you copy one from somewhere, ViPad would pop up and say, "Hey, look, I found this web link," and it's a little bit intrusive. It might be useful if you actually want to put the web link into ViPad, but I agree with what some of you people were emailing me with, saying, this is quite intrusive. This is annoying me. Blah blah blah. Fair enough. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So what I've done in ViPad 2 is to have it still catched those web links, but in a much more suppressed, much more, what's the word? I'd say a much more tidy manner, really. I can't think of a fancy word. Sorry. Yeah. So let's show you what I mean. No. But let's go to the BBC homepage. If we were to copy that and then go to ViPad, it would say drag the link to the desired window. So this is how the URL system works in ViPad 2.0. It lets you drag links from this window into one of the tabs that you like. So for me, I actually want a new tab for my web links, and I'm going to call this new tab URL. No, let's make it web links. It's more links. Okay, so I can drag that into the web links tab. At this stage, I can also drag it into other tabs, such as this main tab here, or I could drag it into utilities. It has gone. It's gone right at the end, I expect. Yeah, it's gone there. It has moved, not moved, it has been copied there. So, yeah, that's how you use the new URL system in ViPad 2.0. Actually, I don't need it in utilities, though. So I'm going to get rid of it there, and get rid of it here. Okay, there we go. So I'm finished with that now. I click close. As you can see, it's much less intrusive than the ViPad 1 URL handling was. So that's some of the major changes for ViPad 2. There's also one more change you may not be aware of, of the DWM mode, which I shouldn't say, it's rather a non-DWM mode. It's not got any official name, right? It's just where, so as you go to the options, you see there's another option here called Use Windows DWM. Basically, if you know what DWM is already, it's glass in Windows. Since Windows Vista, you had this kind of glass windows, which is what ViPad is currently using now, as you can see. But if you're not fortunate enough to have a Windows operating system with DWM support, you can still use ViPad. Or in fact, if you just don't like the Windows DWM in Windows 7 or Windows 8 or any, whatever Windows operating system, you can turn it off and you can use ViPad's own implementation of a glass window. So that means Windows XP can now use ViPad and it will appear like this for XP users. And there's also some skinning possibilities there as well, but I'll get on to that. Well, I'll be making more skinning possibilities in the next version of ViPad, which is ViPad 3.0. But for now, there are some skinning possibilities, but I'm not going to talk about that too much. So yeah, that's pretty much the major changes for ViPad 2.0. Also, I was going to show you, there are now new ways to do the same things in ViPad, if that makes sense. So, but I've shown you that I can drag different icons from one tab to another simply by clicking on one of the icons, holding down and moving it to another tab. It's quite simple stuff. But there's actually more than one way to move an icon in the ViPad 2. You can actually right click on one of the icons and click Move To and then select the tab that you want. There's also Copy To here as well. Okay. What else? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the major features of ViPad 2.0. There's a few more other little features and other little changes which are not worth mentioning in this video because it's gone on far too long. Anyway, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy using ViPad 2.0. Thank you.